Hello everybody, my name is Draconic and welcome back to another great Driving Empire YouTube video. So a new update just came out this morning and it's great. There's 7 new cars in the game and there's 5 collections in Driving Empire. And each one involves you buying pretty much all the cars in a brand. And it's a lot of work to get all these cars. So I'm going to go and before you buy all the cars with all the money, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to rank every collection in Driving Empire, and we're going to see which ones are the best value and which ones do I like the most. Let's get right into the video. So we have the first collection on my list. So number 5 out of 5 is the Zonda collection. So Pagani only has a Zonda collection right now. There is no Huayras in this. So we actually only have about half the cars that we normally would. We've got a couple Zonda Fs. We've got the expensive 13.5 mil Zonda Revo Barchetta, whatever it is. But we have probably about 25-ish mil worth of cars here. So it's pretty expensive, pretty sizable. And it comes last in my rankings. I'd give it probably 2.5 stars. It's still a really good idea, but I'm not giving it really too much praise because the only reward is the 1999 Pagani Zonda C12. Now the C12 is a really cool car, and I'm going to show you the stats of it in a second here. Here I go spawning it. Here's how it looks. You can see it's really nice, but the acceleration is probably the crazy thing that this car's got going for it. You see it accelerates so good that it slides around. But this is, great, still a great thing to work out, but I think it's probably got the worst value out of any of the car packs just because the Zondas are also similar, so you're not getting a variety of experiences with this car pack and with this collection per se, not a car pack. But I think it's still really cool, and I would definitely still grind for it, but if you were grinding car packs, this would be my lowest priority, and as such, I am putting it at number 5 onto my 4th place ranking. Let's go. And my 4th pick is the Audi collection. So the Audi collection is pretty huge. We have a lot of cars in the Audi brand. Most of them are cheaper, but sort of going through the list, we've got cars like the Audi A4 Limousine, and so this one actually has 3 tiers. We've got like a collector starter pack 1, like a pack 2, and then the big final boss of the pack, which gets you the Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2. What a handful. But starting out, we get, what I find really cool from this car pack is we get a lot of cash boosts. We get a plus 5% driving cash from the Audi pack, and of course, you see this is the most expensive bit, and to get the Audi R8 that I mentioned before, you need to pay a lot of money. You need to pay like 15 or so mil for the big Audi track car. And that car isn't as good as the Solus GT, so it might be a bit of a waste, but you don't have to buy the Solus for the McLaren pack. So maybe if you're going for this pack, just get the car anyways. You'll love it at circuit. You're not going to love spending all the money to upgrade it, but this pack gives 5% more driving cash and the Audi R8 that I mentioned earlier. And after you buy all these cars, so in total probably about 20 mil, we are going to get the great Audi R8. I'm going to skip through the footage a little bit. We're so close. We're about to spawn it. Here it is, and it looks amazing. I love the way this car looks. It is pure track toy here, and I love the way it drives too. This is one of my probably favorite driving cars of the update. Look at how it slides. I just love drifting this car. It's one of my favorite drift cars right now, because even with all-wheel drive and gripping tires, it still slides like crazy. I mean, you could see me going down the hill like this, but it just slides. It's so beautiful. It's so fun to drive. But maybe I would have put this pack lower, but just because of how fun this car is, I put it above the Pagani pack for now. If they add stuff, if they change the game, we'll see how it'll change. But for now, I think this pack lands the 4th place spot onto the 3rd place spot. So I picked for my 3rd place spot, I picked the Jaguar pack. So there's a whole bunch of other cars in the Jag pack too, but it's more compact of a pack. There's less cars. A lot of them are cheap. The only really expensive cars here are the XJ220, and that's in the first half. And then the D-Type is whatever else. But the first half is those 3 cars I just showcased, and it's plus 10% driving cash. So that's a really good deal for grinding. That's partially why this pack is so high. The second half includes this CX-75, and then it also includes, let me spawn it here, it includes the XJR15 sports car. This is a really cool car. I love the way it looks. I love the pop-up headlights. And last off is the D-Type up top. It is more expensive, I'm sure, but for that, we get the XJ220S, which I think is sort of just like a special edition of the XJ220 with like a fixed race wing. It's really cool looking. I love the headlights. I love the style. I actually forgot to upgrade it, so let me speed through this here and let me speed through the driving. But it's still a really cool pack. I think I'm putting it so high because of that 10% driving cash for relatively cheap. So that's, if you want to grind, that's great. Go for it, please. Buy this pack first if you want to grind, in my opinion. But it gets third place for me. I love the XJ220S. Overall, great pack. Let's get on to the next pack. In spot number 2, it is the Apollo pack. That's right, the Apollo pack is my second pick, and you see we have a couple different cars here. We've got the first 3 cars get us plus 15% driving cash. So if you like driving, if you like racing, every time you race in Driving Empire, that'll get you 15% more cash while you drive. Great way to grind. That's mainly why this pack is so high up in the rankings. It really is just that worth it. And if you buy these extra 2 cars, you can get the 2016 Gumpert Apollo N. Now, I think this car's a little ugly. I think it's a bit underwhelming for stats. That's not what's winning this pack second place. Second place comes to this car collection because of the 15% driving cash, which I think will be so influential in the end. If it was lower percentage, if it was 10% driving cash, this would probably be in 3rd or 4th place. But to be honest, it's still an incredible car pack, and I love the car. We are going to go on to our majestical, our big #1 car collection, and you could probably guess it. It is the McLaren pack. Now, you might have probably guessed it, as I said before, and it's not a pack, it's a car collection, but we start off with 3 tiers, for real this time, 3 tiers, and we get 2 cars and a plus 5% driving boost. This is clearly the best deal, but you're going to have to spend a lot of money to get it. The first tier consists of a couple cars, and it gets you plus 5% driving cash, and that's those 3 cars. On to the next tier, we get a McLaren 750S Spider if we buy this car right here. And again, these are all rather cheap, but they add up. But this first set of cars, and then we're on to the McLaren Artura. And we've got one more for the second pack, the second part of the 3-part collection series, and it is the 600 LT Spider right here. And 3 really cool different cars. You're probably not going to drive them much. You're going to want to drive this. It's a Spider car, and it's got a really cool sort of mono paint scheme. There's no dual tone like there used to be carbon on the lip and stuff, but as a car, you can see it's sort of rather cool. It's got great acceleration for what it's worth. It's cheap to upgrade, so that's another plus. And from that, you see we sort of just get, again, like what, 250 miles an hour top speed, really great value. And onto the cars that we need for the final car in this pack that's worth getting, the McLaren 750S Spider. The McLaren pack. Now, you might have probably guessed it, as I said before, and it's not a pack, it's a car collection, but we start off with 3 tiers, for real this time, 3 tiers, and we get 2 cars and a plus 5% driving boost. This is clearly the best deal, but you're going to have to spend a lot of money to get it. The first tier consists of a couple cars, and it gets you plus 5% driving cash, and that's those 3 cars. On to the next tier, we get a McLaren 750S Spider if we buy this car right here. And again, these are all rather cheap, but they add up. But this first set of cars, and then we're on to the McLaren Artura. And we've got one more for the second pack, the second part of the 3-part collection series, and it is the 600 LT Spider right here. And 3 really cool different cars. You're probably not going to drive them much. You're going to want to drive this. It's a Spider car, and it's got a really cool sort of mono paint scheme. There's no dual tone like there used to be carbon on the lip and stuff, but as a car, you can see it's sort of rather cool. It's got great acceleration for what it's worth. It's cheap to upgrade, so that's another plus. And from that, you see we sort of just get, again, like what, 250 miles an hour top speed, really great value. And onto the cars that we need for the final car in this pack that's worth getting, the McLaren 750S Spider.